Hello, and welcome to Everything Fear's The Shed of Dread. I'm Kit Tinsley, the host of the Everything Fear podcast. Everything Fear is a weekly podcast dedicated to all things horror, so if that's of interest to you, then there is a link down in the description below. With these videos, what we're aiming to do is movie reviews, movie analysis, and things like top 10 lists. If you enjoy this video, then please give us a like, subscribe, and maybe tap that bell icon to be notified when we upload future content. Now, on with today's video. Today I want to talk to you about a short horror film called I Hear Things. Now, this is possibly the greatest horror movie short since the ones that went on to become the full-length films Mama and Lights Out. It really is that good. Let me tell you a story. A few weeks ago, I put out posts on social media asking for any indie filmmakers who made horror movies who wanted to be interviewed on the podcast. I was contacted by a young man called Nathan Cox, who told me that him and his friend Archie Meyer were making a short horror movie during lockdown, and would I like to interview them? He sent me a link to the trailer, and I watched the trailer, and honestly, within minutes, I had messaged Nathan back saying, yes, I would love to interview you for the podcast. That's how impressed I was by the trailer. Now, we did the interview a few weeks ago, and it will be airing on the podcast in episode 7. I really enjoyed chatting with Nathan and Archie. They're both very cine-literate, they know their movies, and yeah, we had a good chat. I was also really impressed that when we were talking about what horror films they liked, they brought up the classic and underrated gem that is Session 9. Now, that has always been one of my favourite horror films, and I use it as a gauge as to other people's taste in horror films. Nathan is the director and cinematographer, whereas Archie plays the lead role in the film, and they came up with the story together. Now, since the interview, Nathan sent me a message saying that they had completed the film and sent me a link to go and watch the film. Wow. Now, the opening scene of the film is basically the same as the trailer, and it does a really good job of ramping up the tension. And the sound design in that opening sequence and trailer is a fantastic indicator of how good the sound design and how important the sound design is to this film.
You're going to be okay on your own?
Yeah, mate, I should be fine. It'll be good to have some time on my own anyway.
We're not going to be quarantined forever.
Nah, yeah. I know.
Okay, well, just make sure you call me if you get bored and need to talk, yeah?
Yeah, of course, mate. Have a good journey anyway.
Cheers, mate.
we're introduced to our protagonist, Ethan. He's a student at university who has decided to stay in his student accommodation during lockdown on his own because his sister has underlying health issues that mean her immune system is compromised. As the film progresses, Ethan encounters strange noises and sees things within the house. He discusses it on the phone with one of his housemates, Alex.
Hey man, you alright?
I don't know, mate, to be completely honest.
What's up?
Been hearing things, man.
Has it been coming from upstairs?
Yeah, how did you know?
I've been hearing them too. In my room, but only when I wasn't in there. Like if I was walking up the stairs, I'd hear it.
Yeah, you definitely locked your door, right? When you left?
Ethan, mate, I shut it. I literally locked it before I left. What's going on?
Saw something earlier, mate.
What did you see?
I went outside to take the bins out, had dinner, was late. My sleeping patterns just non-existent. As I walked back into the garden, I just saw something in my window. I don't know what it was.
What did you see?
I think I'm crazy. It looked like a hand. I ran into my bedroom and I searched everywhere, man. I searched under my bed, curtains, everything. There's nothing there. I don't know what I saw. I think I'm fucking mad.
Mate, you're not. You need to chill out a bit. I know it's shit being on your own, but that's just it, you know? You're on your own. No one else is living there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Would you mind moving my camera? Basically, I left it on the landing outside Sarah's room. I don't want you to trip over it or anything, so can you just move it outside my room or something?
Yeah, of course, mate. Thanks again for chatting to me. I know it's late.
Hey, no worries, you can call whenever.
Alright, bye, mate.
Talk to you later, yeah?
We question what is happening in the film. Is there some sort of supernatural entity within the house? Is someone playing a prank on Ethan? Or is it all in his mind? And the film does a wonderful job of giving us hints and misdirections that mean that all of these answers are possible. And I think that is the truly great thing about the film, is it leaves it open to the viewer to decide what they're watching.
You alright, mate?
No, I'm not fucking alright. You think you're funny, mate?
What do you mean?
Don't play dumb. You know what I'm talking about. The Wi-Fi radio in your room. Who leaves a fucking camera outside and a fucking gym bag as well? I knew it was fucking sauce.
Look, Ethan, mate, I'm sorry, alright? It was for this jump scare competition thing online, okay? Winner got 500.
I can't believe this, mate. How long are you going to keep this up?
I turned it off after a day, Ethan. After the battery on the camera ran out.
Mate, you're lying.
Ethan,
Lying. I've been hearing things every day since you left.
Ethan, even the radio battery is dead.
No. No, that's not true, mate. That's not true.
Are you okay? This isn't about the sounds, is it? Have you taken your meds recently?
A long time ago, I used to teach media production and film theory. So I have seen and marked an awful lot of films made by student filmmakers. And I've got to be honest, it's always a mixed bag. They range from the terribly poor to the quite good. But nothing could have prepared me for just how good I Hear Things is. That this film looks so polished and sounds and feels like the work of much more experienced filmmakers than a couple of film students. As soon as I finished watching the film, I had to write a gushing message to Nathan to ask if I could review the film and do this video. I've never been so enthralled while watching a short film. The tone of the film really reminds me of Repulsion by Roman Polanski, not only in the way that we're left to decide whether what's happening is real or some form of madness on the part of the protagonist, but also in its sheer claustrophobic tension. As I've mentioned, the sound design in this short film is astounding. It's both brilliant and brutal. I watched the film late at night on my iPad with earbuds in, and just the sound had my heart racing from about 2 minutes in right up until the end. And the few excellently orchestrated jump scares actually stopped my heart, I think, for a few seconds. The feeling I got from the sound in this film brought to mind other horror movies that have used sound as their greatest weapon. For example, The Exorcist, which of course won an Oscar for its sound design. And more recently, the brilliant Berberian Sound Studios, a film that not only features sounds as its nightmarish source of fear, but also its essential theme of the plot. To sum up, I Hear Things is not only the best student-made film I have ever seen, it is also the best horror short I have seen in a very long time. Nathan and Archie said they're hoping to get the film into film festivals later in the year, once those things are happening again. So if you go to a film festival and you get the chance to see I Hear Things, I strongly recommend it. Also keep your eyes open for the names Nathan Cox and Archie Meyer, because if they can achieve a film of this quality just as something to do while in lockdown, then they are definitely destined for great things. We're going to hear a lot more from these young men, I am quite sure of that. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And until next time, stay scared.